Tampa Bay. Boy, they're getting some great pitching, but Chris Archer leading the way.
Yes.
He relishes the opportunity to be the #1 starter.
That was by him at 95.
It's pretty effortless.
Halfway through the swing, you realize it's unhittable.
This kid is something else.
He has been rock solid.
95-mile-an-hour fastball, pretty free and easy.
Chris Archer is one of the best starting pitchers in the American League.
One of the game's premier starters, Chris Archer, and it's a pleasure to have him with us on Hot Stove on this Monday, joining us live from Tropicana Field to start the week. Chris, good morning to you. What are you doing at the Trop? Is today a workout day at the ballpark, or what else is happening down there?
Well, if you guys panned over the field, it doesn't look too much like a ballpark.
Oh, a little football.
Right now. It's a football stadium. But, yeah, we have voluntary off-season workouts here, and it's just a safe place to always come get my shoulder exercises in and my throwing in.
So Chris, what is it, high school All-American game there? Something like that?
Yeah, they had a bowl game here, and I think the next game will be like the East-West Shrine, like a college
Oh, that's right.
Game,
yeah, the college All-Star game.
St. Pete Bowl was there. You didn't watch, apparently.
That's right. No doubt about it.
I watched every snap.
Chris, you dabbled a little bit in the broadcasting in the postseason. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun. It was long days, and I have added respect for what you guys do. And I forgot to thank you guys for having me on, but I really appreciate being on, as always.
Hey, respect for what you do, because we know how hard you work to reach the level that you've reached. I'm curious about your off-season program. Are you more of a flexibility guy? Do you take advantage of the downtime to add strength and mass? What do you do in the winter?
Yeah, I mean, flexibility is very important for us. Stability, strength, and this year I've been working on the strength in my toes and the bottom of my feet, you know, just always looking for an added advantage. And just being stable when you land on the ground is so important. Ankle stability, foot stability, it's where the power initiates. And, you know, as we get older, we start to have leaks in our mechanics and we start to lose velocity. And I'm thinking if I can work from my toes, ankles, calves, and all the way up, I'm going to be less likely to lose velocity and lose strength throughout the season.
You get Barishnikov to help you out, or what? What you do ballet? How you strengthening your toes?
I do toe curls. I put a towel down and a weight on top of it and pull the towel. And you guys should try it. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but if you
don't have no boomerang toes, right? You know.
Nah, I have nice feet. I get mani-pedis all the time, so my feet stay sharp with them pedicures. But I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, we work on grip strength with our forearm and our fingers. But I think a lot of times we forget that, you know, that's the last place where the ball comes out. We don't think as much about where the power initiates when we strike the ground. So this year I'm really working on that, striking the ground efficiently, and also working on the whole posterior chain. Like I said, calves, hamstrings, glutes, low back, the whole posterior chain in my shoulder. It's always an emphasis, but I'm being even more mindful now.
Who got you thinking that in depth? Because that is deep stuff. Who got you thinking that way?
I always surround myself by people who are smarter than me. I didn't go to college, and I do like to read and I do like to educate myself, but I can only do that to a certain extent. So I make sure there's a stable of people around me, whether it's our athletic trainers, some of my close friends back home who are really into nutrition and science and movement patterns. I just keep those people around me. They send me articles, and I just try to find small ways to elevate my game every year.
Hey, Chris, it's Ken Rosenthal. There's been a lot of talk this offseason about the Rays trading a starting pitcher, not necessarily yourself, but another starting pitcher in addition to Nate Carnes that could bring them a bat. And my question is, how do you see the team right now? Are you in a good place?
I think the team is in a very good place. There's obvious areas where we would like to address, but I don't think that it's a glaring need. I think the addition of Logan Morrison and Brad Miller, who hit 2 bombs off me in one game. So I think he's a really awesome player. The addition of those 2 guys are going to be critical. We have a shortstop that hits left-handed that won't be too affected by right-handed pitching. And we have a DH/first baseman to spell, James Loney over there at times, who does have a lot of power potential. And that's the main thing we were looking for in our lineup is that little bit of power potential. So we get that in Logan Morrison, and Brad Miller also has some pretty nice power numbers at the shortstop position last year as well.
Hey, you know, the thing about the East now, which I think is interesting, Chris, is that, you know, the former big toe, if we're speaking podiatry here, as we seem to be, the former big toe of your pitching staff, David Price, is now back in the division anchoring a rival rotation. Have you had a chance to visit with David? I know the two of you are friends. And what do you expect from a competitive standpoint from him now?
I haven't talked to him a crazy amount because I know that he's having a lot thrown at him right now with different media obligations and getting to know new teammates. I'm curious if him and Big Poppet are going to be friends. Do you know anything about that, Matt?
I'm quite sure that they will have some exchanges. I think they'll probably be pretty good. By the way, thank you.
Got the inside.
Thank you for reminding me on that. Yeah, you probably know more about that than we do here. I'll make sure that happens, though.
All right, yeah, I'm just joking about that. But
you were able to patch it up with Big Poppy too now.
Oh yeah, we're cool. Big Poppy and Big Puppet. I mean, Big Poppet. We're all good. We're all good. But no, I'm extremely excited for him. I'm extremely excited for him to be in the division because it just adds that competitive factor. We know that we're gonna have to bring our A game every single night out, and adding another great starting pitcher in our division is gonna make us be even more prepared, and it's a nice challenge for us because in the American League East, it's the toughest division in all of baseball, possibly in all of sports, and it just shows with, you know, the additions that all the teams are having with Chapman and David Price and Kimbrel and all the other pitchers that are in the league, not to mention the depth of the lineup. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice, and I think that the Rays in 2016 have a legitimate chance. Even if we don't make any more moves, I think we have a legitimate chance to compete like we always do.
Well, I only have two more questions for you, Chris, before we let you go. One, on the subject you're just talking about, what is that like to be on a team? It seems like every year you go to spring and you're reinventing the ball club. Is that fun or is that difficult? What's the challenges for you?
I think last year was the only year that I really felt like we were reinventing just because we had a lot of moving parts. And it is a little strange and a little different. But if we stay healthy, you know, we're centered around pitching. If our pitching stays healthy, we have the same type of pitching and we instill the same type of fear with our pitching that other teams do with their lineup. So if that stays healthy, just like Toronto's lineup and the Yankees lineup and Boston's lineup, if, you know, they want their lineups to stay healthy. We want our pitching to stay healthy. And I think that going into every spring training, that's why we're so confident. So, you know, we had a lot of moving parts last year, not quite as many this year. I think Erasmo Ramirez really stepped up, a healthy Drew Smiley, a healthy Matt Moore. Odorizzi made a lot of progress. I made a lot of progress myself. I mean, I don't know if there's a better 1 through 5 or 6, especially with Blake Snell in the minor leagues is like our 6th starting pitcher. I don't know if there's a better 1 through 5 or 6 in the entire league. So I'm excited, like I said, and this year won't be quite as many moving pieces as last year.
Tell you what, man, you're on point. Now I got to ask you this last thing. I love your hair. I mean, I think it's phenomenal. So
yeah,
I
you
want
used
to
to have a little fro / Jerry curl.
Yeah, I had the curl though, but yours is like the real deal. But I want, what size hat do you wear to get that underneath the hat?
Yeah, I've had to elevate my hat size a few sizes. Last year, I was stubborn. I was having a good season, so I didn't want to change my hat size. I didn't want to change my hat at all. You know how we are, Harold. But,
yeah.
This year it's going to be a 7 5/8. I'm usually 7 1/4. So that's 2 hat sizes up, and by the end of the season, I might even be pushing a size 8 just to fit over this.
That's good. Give Bochy a money run for his money for the biggest hat size in histotoe. It's all hair.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Chris, we really appreciate your time as always. We love catching up with you. We're great fans of yours, and keep those toe workouts with Ron Porterfield going, and we'll talk to you in April.
All right, thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Joining us via Ballpark Cam down in
Love him.